Well, due to technical difficulties, I've managed to lose the opening file that I need for this video. However, we'll see if I can narrate my way through it. What I'm trying to do this time is try to create an apple pie brandy. Unlike your apple pie moonshine that has ingredients mixed in after the fact, we're going to see what we can accomplish mixing in before distillation. So what I started out with was 2 gallons of some freshly squeezed apple cider and a gallon or 2 of regular apple juice. I then also took several Granny Smith apples and cut them up and put them in a mixer and ground them up real good and put that in. I also took some raisins and gave them a quick boil to loosen up the sugars inside. Added that to it. And I also added a little bit of molasses for flavoring, like you would have brown sugar. You could also add some brown sugar to this as well. Now, instead of the normal bread yeast and turbo yeast that you normally see me using, I decided to try a different yeast, and you can find this on eBay. You can just look up the numbers EC-1118, and that's its official name. It's a special wine yeast. It is used by some distillers, and so I thought I would give this one a go this time around. And it gets mixed just the same as any other time you see me mixing my yeast up. 3 packets of yeast should do it. A couple heaping tablespoons of sugar and some warm water, and let it set for about 10 minutes before you dump it in. And at this point we should be able to catch up with the rest of the video. Okay, so now it's been a couple hours, and let's have a look at this brew. There's a chunk of apple that didn't get chopped up. And there we got some bubbling. Peel back the layers. Oh yes, we have some bubbling going on. The raisins are fermenting and filling up with gas and floating to the top. Oh yeah, I can smell the alcohol brewing on it. How are we doing as far as big taste from the front? That's not bad. Granny Smiths give it the right amount of tartness. There's that what is it? Angry Orchard. It's either yeah, I think it's a hard cider. Tastes pretty close to that. So if you want to take a shortcut, you could distill bottles of Angry Orchard, get something pretty close to this, just to get a taste figured out of what you want. Alright, we'll let that sit and we'll get back to it in a couple weeks, or 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay, so now it's been a week, and here's what we have so far. All the apples, except for a couple of chunks here and there, have sank to the bottom. Let's have a look at this one apple that we have here. It's a bit translucent. Let's try this chunk of apple here. Still tastes like a Granny Smith, but with alcohol in it. Not as sweet as it was. Let's try a bit of the wine that we have here. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. There's a certain crispness to it, probably from the Granny Smith. That would make a very good wine, all in its own, if you wanted to drink it like that. So now we'll take this and we'll experiment with it a little bit, see if we can, what kind of flavors we can put into it before distilling or after distilling. Okay, so now I've got my formula pretty much worked out, what I want to do. And what I'm seeing on these raisins, I'm not sure if that's yeast or not that has clung to it. Actually, it looks like they might have started to crack as they were building up pressure inside. Either way, I wasn't planning on filtering this earlier, but now thinking about these little white spots all over the raisins, I am going to do a slight filtration, and I'm just going to use a spaghetti strainer and cheesecloth and fill up my still pot to a respectable level, and then add the spices. I'm not going to try to disturb the apples and stuff that settle to the bottom. So I'll get this filled up here. Okay, so now what I have is just a couple small ladles full in a wine type glass, and I've added just a little bit of seasonings to this, some stuff that you might find in apple pie recipes, and other things that I thought might go good with it. So we just have just a pinch of these in there, and we'll heat this up for about a minute and get those flavors released. Okay, I got it heated up. It didn't take as long as I expected it to, probably only 30 seconds next time, but the aroma coming off of that smells almost just like a freshly baked apple pie. And we'll let that set, and we'll let those flavors finish releasing, and we'll give this a try. Okay, it's been just about a minute or two. We'll give this a try and see what we got. Wow, that's pretty good. It's not completely accurate as far as an apple pie goes, but it is a lot closer than any apple pie moonshine that I've tried. This has a much closer distinction to apple pie than most apple pie moonshine recipes. So we'll try to tweak this. It's not quite right, but it is pretty close. So we'll try to tweak this and see what we can get a little closer. Okay, I've played around with a few different spices, including things like vanilla extract and nutmeg, and the spices that I think work best with this were some cinnamon sticks, whole cloves, and aniseed. Aniseed has like a licorice quality to it. And so after using these three and a pinch of brown sugar, I got just as close to a homemade apple pie as I think I'm going to get And it's pretty good. It's a lot better than the typical Moonshine apple pie. It's a lot better than the typical apple pie moonshine that you see that you've seen 100 times on YouTube videos. So now I'll try to add these ingredients to the distilling pot and see how well these flavors travel to our final product. Okay, so now I'll gently squeeze some more liquid out of these raisins. That works for me. And then we can take this and throw the contents away. And we have a suitable amount of liquid for distilling. So now to this I'm going to add 3 cinnamon sticks. Each one is roughly the length of my index finger. I'm going to add a small spoon of anise seed, and also just a small spoon of whole clove. Okay, now we'll seal this up and we'll distill it, and we'll see what kind of product that we get out of it. Okay, now this batch has gone through, but one thing is wrong. I added too much cinnamon. 3 cinnamon sticks was just way too much. On a mental note, we'll add just like 1 cinnamon stick or even half a cinnamon stick. That'll be plenty. But we can try to fix this. But now that it's finished, it smells absolutely perfect. It smells just like you'd want apple pie to smell like. Only this smell did not go into our final product. Curious. But luckily, we still have some of the wash left over. And so we'll distill that by itself. And I'll even boost that up a little bit so that we can get a stronger batch of apple flavor. And then we will mix that in with the first batch that was ran. It's got a really good cinnamon flavor to it, but it's not apple pie. It's a real good cinnamon brandy. It wasn't what I was looking for, so we'll see if we can finish mixing this up and dilute it down and see if we can get what we're aiming for. Okay, so the first mixture was too strong in cinnamon. However, the cinnamon taste is good. If that's what you want to go for, it was really good as far as cinnamon goes. But we're trying to get an apple pie taste, and that was just too strong for apple pie. So here's the rest of our wash, and we're getting that drained, and we'll distill that straight. And I might even add something to it to make sure we have something to even out the cinnamon taste with. Already have, but there's only a little bit left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the amount of alcohol that I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to add some this is some apple brandy that I made, one of my first attempts, and it's okay, but it's not the best I can do on apple brandy, so we'll just add this. And I'm not going to use it for anything else. I've just been keeping it around. So now we have some extra alcohol in there to cut down on the cinnamon flavor that we have in the first run. We're also going to take the first run and we're going to add that to it as well. And the second distillation will cut the cinnamon down a little bit. and we'll restill this and see what we come up with. Now, remember, you do this yourself. I went too far with the cinnamon, so just like use a half a cinnamon stick to 1 cinnamon stick per 5-gallon wash. Okay, so now we've let this sit for a couple of weeks with 2 Granny Smiths cut up and put in there to soak, and the brandy has turned a nice pleasant yellow color. Let's see what we have now. That is pretty good. That is about as close as we're going to get to an actual apple pie moonshine. But I would let that sit up some more. The longer it sits, the more apple taste you're going to get out of it. Now, if you want, you can take some of this and see how well it ages with oak chips. And because I already have them, I'm going to use the French oak chips. These were purchased on eBay. They're not that expensive. The packages are really small, but they'll go a long way. So we'll take a handful of these French oak chips. They're already toasted. They're ready for use. All you have to do is take a handful and put them in, and you will have a nice French oak aging on this instead of a regular oak aging. And if you can only find the oak chips that Jack Daniels makes, well, go ahead and use those. But if you can find the French oak chips, go ahead and use those, and we'll give that a try, and we'll see how well those taste. So here we are in the modern age of 2018, some odd years later, and this is as much as I have of this. So what I would have done next is I would have taken anything that I had and filtered it through a coffee filter. So like I said before, this was an experiment and completely subject to interpretation. What I have left over isn't bad. People have said they've liked it a lot. But is it apple pie? Well, you'll have to be the judge of that, and you'll have to see if you can tweak this, because this is my first experiment, and I've never gotten back to it to see if it could be tweakable. Alright, so with that, good luck to y'all.